on the other side of the world, thousands of people in the Nepalese capital Kathmandu have fled into the streets after the country was hit by a powerful new earthquake. The US Geological Survey said it had a magnitude of 7.4. The quake that devastated Nepal last month was a 7.8. So the epicenter is said to be between Kathmandu and Mount Everest. It lasted at least 2 minutes. Daud Chou from the charity Humanity First is a surgeon from Surrey. He is just back from Nepal. Daud Chou, good morning to you.
Morning.
Thank you for your time this morning. Tell me what it was like being there recently.
Well, thank you for having me. Firstly, I'm obviously really concerned about the recent news we've heard about this new earthquake measuring 7.4 on the Richter scale. I'm really worried about the situation there. After we left, probably 2 days ago, there were still areas of Nepal, particularly the northern parts, that has yet hadn't been accessed by the health authorities, and there were issues with access for aid equipment. So my real concern now is the situation is going to be much more severe with this new earthquake, and also in the coming weeks the issue of the monsoon season. I'm really concerned about what will happen when that all starts. Whilst we were there with a team of medical specialists, including surgeons. I myself an orthopedic surgeon. There was general surgery support, an A&E consultant, and general practitioner, and some paramedics, as well as logistics support. We managed to access a district called Gorkha, where the epicenter was, and we were based there in a place called Badasi, where we served over 1,000 patients. What we really were working with the government to do was to travel further north, but because of restrictions with road damage and accessing helicopters, we were unable to travel further north to help the more devastated areas. So my concern now really is the issue with this new earthquake and the cumulative effect of these two disasters.
Yeah, we just heard that 4 people were killed in Chautara in Nepal after this earthquake earlier today. It's destroyed several buildings. So the buildings already destroyed. This has caused further damage to others as well. So there'll be more of the kind of injuries you were seeing. I mean, as an orthopedic, were you seeing lots of fractures from people who'd survived the original quake?
There were plenty of survivors, and luckily for the Nepalese.
Daud, are you still there? Are you still there, Daud?
Yep.
Sorry, we just missed you for a moment. You were saying about the survivors that you were seeing.
The survivors did have various orthopedic injuries, plastic-type injuries as well, needing wound care. We were very lucky that the earthquake happened at a time when most people were outdoors, and so the damage could and the injuries could have been a lot worse. Obviously, the buildings, both in Kathmandu and surrounding areas, have had a double shocking effect, and so those buildings that were standing after the first earthquake are subsequently exposed to a second earthquake, and it's likely that those buildings would have collapsed. And my worry is that a lot of the search and rescue teams who were there at the beginning have been asked to return, and so much of that expert skill isn't available in Nepal at the moment.
Right, just when it's needed, because we heard some of the firefighters went out there with the initial reaction. They'd already returned home because their phase of the operation was over. But it may be that we're going to see similar with a similar size earthquake hitting again today.
Correct.
Okay.
I think a formal assessment needs to be made, and if there are if there's a need for search and rescue teams, I think that might be something that the government needs to look into.
Would you get back out yourself?
I think, so for me, I'd like to go back. I myself have an exam coming up, and I've had to rely on colleagues to fill in my clinics, and so it's going to be tough for me to
Okay, if you can't personally go back, will there be other people in your line of work who are willing to spend some time out there?
Absolutely. Humanity First has already sent out emails and text messages to volunteers who are ready to go, and so they're in the process of assessing the situation and assessing the need to send the medical team out there. We have already a team there. Although we returned as a medical team, there was a team that was sent on the day that we went for assessments for medium and long-term projects in Nepal, and they're still out there. And luckily, I spoke to them this morning, and they're well. But they will be feeding back to the headquarters in London to decide whether or not a further medical team or further assessment team needs to be sent out in response to this new earthquake.
Okay. Daud, thank you very much indeed for your time and for your work out there before. Daud Chou from the charity Humanity First, a surgeon from Surrey, just back from Nepal, as we hear that a second similar-size earthquake to the one recently, 7.4, struck this morning between Kathmandu and Mount Everest.